This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, so this morning we're going to speak about Rabbeinu Shantz, Rabbeinu Shimshon Shantz, Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham Shantz. Not to be confused with the Rashba, even though his initials are Rashba. However, whenever Tosfos says Rashba, it's Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz, not the Rashba of Barcelona. Rashba of Barcelona was much later. So this is like the first Rashba. He's usually not called Rashba, but in Tosfos, when Tosfos says Rashba, it's Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz. And we're going to learn, you ready? I'm just going to go straight to the bombshell today. Tosfos on the side of our page is Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz. That's it. Tosfos, this. So even though we said Rabbeinu Tam is the architect of Tosfos, and the Riazakin is the builder of Tosfos, but Tosfos is Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz. That's what Tosfos is. Now, not every Masechta. Moed Katan is Rabbeinu Shmuel bar Elchanan bar the Riazakin. Tosfos in Yuma is Marame Rothenberg. But Ruba Deruba of the Tosfos in Shas are Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham. Okay, and that's a Yediyah. Kamad, everything we just said is not so well known, and it's probably kedai. Before we teach Tosfos and yeshivas, it's probably kedai for people to have a basic understanding who these people are. How did Tosfos get to the side of the page? And the reason why I'm talking about Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz is because we hope to visit him 1 week from today. Okay? Now, visit him. All the Balei Tosfos are in France. No, not Rabbeinu Shimshon. Rabbeinu Shimshon left France. He went to Yerushalayim. Some Balei Tosfos, 300 Balei Tosfos, went to Akko. And they set up the Yeshiva Hagadola de Paris. Where? In Akko. Who led the yeshiva? Rabbeinu Yechiel mi Paris. Rabbeinu Yechiel mi Paris debated Nicholas Donin about the Talmud. He won the debate, but you don't win a debate. He won the debate, and then he had to run for his life. And he followed the Crusaders to Akko. Somehow they paid off the Crusaders, that in the Crusader castle, they had a yeshiva with 300 Balei Tosfos. It was led by Rabbeinu Yechiel. But they apparently traveled through Egypt. But Rabbeinu Shimshon did not want to travel through Egypt. It seems like he was choishesh that you're not allowed to travel through Egypt. So he took a different route. He ended up in Yerushalayim. That's why sometimes he's called Ish Yerushalayim. And where is he buried? We're about to see. The Chida writes in the Shem HaGdolim, Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham Shantz, Talmud Ri Hazaken Bala Tosfos. Now, did you ever see in the Shas, in Zroim and Moed, you ever see in Masechta Brachos, in the back of Masechta Brachos, you have Seder Zroim. Seder Zroim, Mishnayos Zroim. And Mishnayos Zroim, who wrote the Parsha of Mishnayos Zroim? You have the Rambam and the Rash. Who's the Rash? Rabbeinu Shimshon. The Rash is the commentary on Mishnayos, Seder Zroim, and Taharos. By the way, did you ever notice there's also Rash on Tamid and Midos? Yeah, on the side of the page. That's Rabbeinu Shmaya, Talmud of Rashi. Look on your sheet. First sheet, yeah, the Machzor Vitri was a student of Rashi, and Rabbeinu Shmaya, who wrote the Rash on Tamid and Midos. But
general means an addition, right? So
Tosfos is additions to Rashi. And all the Balei HaTosfos had their personal Tosfos. So you have Tosfos Harash, Tosfos Tosfos Harid. You have many Tosfos. You have many of the Rishonim wrote Tosfos in. Tosfos Shantz. And our Tosfos is primarily Tosfos Shantz. The Chida says he wrote Perush Zram V'Taros, V'chiber Tosfos Shantz, V'hu Rashba HaMuskar B'Tosfos, V'achiv Ritzba. V'nirali HaHedyot, says the Chida, in my opinion, he's also the Rashba mentioned in the Rush. Not like the Maharash Chiyun says that it's the Rashba of Barcelona. No, it cannot be the Rashba of Barcelona. Fine. Comes the Rush, and the Rush says, greatest of all the Rishonim is Rabbeinu Tam. Number 2 is the Ri Hazaken. Number 3 is Rabbeinu Shimshon of Shantz. For the Ashkenazim, even greater than the Rambam. The Rabbeinu Tam, the Ri, Rabbeinu Shimshon, Asher Roiv, Torah Al Pihem, Perushai. Majority of our Torah has been explained by Rabbeinu Tam, the Ri, and Rabbeinu Shimshon. Chumash Hadeshen writes that the Afagav de Shamati, the Betoisus B'nei Ha'ir Nimtza, the Yesh Lahafter Shama. I don't know, toisus the Shantz or toisus the Sharga Einim. Umeime the toisus Mishantz anu Shaisim. We follow the toisusin of toisus Shantz, not the toisusin of other Rishonim. That's what the Chumash Hadeshen, a Rishon, says. If you look in the Sefer Balei HaTosfos was written by a scholar, Ephraim Auerbach, who wrote the preeminent work on the Balei HaTosfos. He says that Rabbeinu Shimshon of Shantz probably is the most prolific writer on the Torah Sheba'al Peh of all the Rishonim. Why? Because he wrote the commentary on Seder Zeraim, he wrote the commentary on Seder Taros, and all the Tosfos on Shas are Tosfos Shantz. So basically, all Torah Sheba'al Peh has been explained in depth by Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz. He brings over here, Bepulasei hasafrusis taifasais makam b'rosh taisvaisav. He is the preeminent commentary on the Torah Sheba'al Peh. He brings from one of the Rishonim, Rav Chazdai Krashkash. He brings that Rabbeinu Shimshon Talmido Shel Rabbi Yitzchak Yedo Bal Tosfos Chiber Sfarim V'Chidesh Havayos Upilpulim B'Chol HaTalmud. We have proofs that he wrote Tosfosin to all the Masechtas of Talmud Bavli. And if you combine that with the Yediyah that he was Mefarish Zraim, he was Mefarish Tares, so his commentary to Torah Sheba'al Peh is the most all-encompassing. Now, we don't have the exact words that he wrote. We only have his Tosfosin through his Talmidim and his Talmidim, but not the way it emanated straight from his pen. And he goes on to bring many rayas that the Tosfosin that we have throughout Shas are from Tosfos Shantz. Now, we mentioned that the greatest of all the Rishonim after Rabbeinu Tam was the Ri Hazaken. When the Ri Hazaken passed away, then the Ritzba became the Rosh Hashiva in Dan Pierre. That's where the Ri Hazaken was Rosh Hashiva. And after him, Rabbeinu Shimshon, his brother, went to Yerushalayim. And says the Marshal, he's buried at the foot of Har HaKarmel.
We moved to Shimshon.
Yeah, so apparently that the Ri Hazaken was taken over by the Ritzba, and the Rabbeinu Shimshon, the brother, went to Yerushalayim, and he's buried by the foot of Har HaKarmel. And if you want, you could come with us on Sunday to Har HaKarmel, to the grave of Rabbeinu Shimshon, the greatest of all the Rishonim. Now, they don't know exactly where it is, but they have a plaque that in this Makom is buried Rabbeinu Shimshon, the Balei HaTosfos, also Rabbeinu Yechiel of Paris, and some say the Ramban. Now, how did he end up going to Eretz Yisrael? He says, we have a tradition that Rabbeinu Shimshon went to Yerushalayim and he's buried b'Seva Toiva in Har HaKarmel. Now, it's interesting. We know there was a great controversy with many of the Rishonim of France and the Rambam. The son of the Rambam, Rabbeinu Avraham, the son of the Rambam, he tells over that he heard about Rabbeinu Shimshon, the Baal HaTosfos, that he made his way to Akko. But Rabbeinu Avraham says, I didn't see him. He didn't come to me. I heard about him after he passed away, that he argued with my father. But says Rabbi Avraham ben Arambam, I was not able to verify that. It was not important to me to clarify that. I said to myself that if he argued on my father, then he'll have to eat what he did. And if it's not true, then whoever said is Moitzi Shemra. This is what Rabbeinu Avraham writes in the year 1235. Again, Rabbeinu Shimshon lived from 1150 to 1214. he brings that the Rabbeinu Shimshon passed away 20 years before that, because the proof is Rabbi Huda al-Kharizi does not mention Rabbeinu Shimshon among the Chachmei Ashkenaz who he met when he came to Eretz Yisrael in 1216. So obviously he passed away before 1216. He also brings that the Rabbeinu Shimshon did not travel to Eretz Yisrael through Mitzrayim, but he landed at the coast of Akko. Now, what's
Yerushalayim at that point was like just Nevada?
Yerushalayim? The Ramban says that when he went to Yerushalayim, there was no minyan in the city of Yerushalayim. They didn't have 10 Jews in Yerushalayim. Can you imagine? There were not 10 Jews in the whole city. Now, the city that of Yerushalayim is the old city. There was nothing beyond the walls, B'chalal. But he brings over here that the subject of making Aliyah was a major subject to the Rishonim of France. Many Rishonim made Nedarim to go move to Eretz Yisrael. We have a tshuva that Rabbeinu Shimshon sent to one of his Talmidim, and one of his Talmidim apparently made a neder that he's going to go to Yerushalayim. So Rabbeinu Shimshon writes to his student, Rabbeinu Menachem, that's the name of his student. He says, regarding your neder that you promised you can go to Eretz Yisrael, we're going to be mefer your neder. You can't go to Eretz Yisrael because your wife is pregnant. And if you go to Eretz Yisrael, it's sakanas nefashos to take a pregnant woman with you. And even if she gives birth right away, to take a little child to travel to Eretz Yisrael in the winter and you're going to come there in the heat of the summer, no, it's sakanas nefashos. So you'll say, it's not sakanas nefashos. You could go yourself and leave your wife at home. So it's not sakanas nefashos. She'll be fine. Leave her in France, and you'll go. What's the sakanas nefashos? He says, Zehevel. You can't leave her as an aguna. You're meshubah to her. It's a mitzvah meruba, and we're going to be mefer the neder. This was what he wrote to one of his talmidim, who was menader to go to Eretz Yisrael. So he went to Eretz Yisrael, and when he got there, Rabbeinu Shimshon was given the great title, Ish Yerushalayim. And some even call him Kvoid Rabbeinu Shimshon from Eretz Yisrael. Now I just want to mention, just in closing comments, that they were Talmidim of the Ri Hazaken. They were also Talmidim of Rabbi Yehuda of Paris, who was Rosh Yeshiva in Paris, and then after him was Rabbeinu Yechiel of Paris. Rabbeinu Yehuda of Paris, the Rebbe of the Rashba, Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham, is not called Rabbeinu Yehuda in Tosfos. He's called Hasar Leon, Sir Leon. That's how Tosfos refers to him. Tosfos throughout Shas refers to him Sir Leon. Why was he called Sir? Because he was a knight. He was knighted by the king. The king put his sword on his shoulder, gave him the helmet, and Rabbeinu Yehuda, who was after the Ri Hazaken, the Gadol Hadar, so on the side, not only was he Gadol Hadar, he was also a knight on the side. So it's a convenient position to have. Rabbeinu Yehuda of Paris, Sir Leon, Rebbe of Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham. So the greatest of all the Rishonim, Rabbeinu Tam, followed by the Ri Hazaken, followed by Rabbeinu Shimshon bar Avraham of Shantz, and this is all miyusad on Rabbeinu Shlomo Yitzchaki, Avihen Shel Yisrael. This is all part of the house of Rashi. Wishing everybody a great day.
That's how we fit it in terms of
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.